Hey guys, so I'm going to go over 20 plus ways to use WD-40 in and around your home and garden that you've probably never thought of before. So if you've ever allowed paint to dry on a brush, it becomes almost like rubber and it's really hard to get off, and the harder you try with just water and a hose, it just doesn't want to come off easily. But if you'll spray some WD-40 all over the bristles, allow it to drain in and soak into the bristles of the brush, then take a stiff bristle brush like this and comb it out, it will easily remove the paint from your brush. You may have to do it 3 or 4 times if it's dried on quite thoroughly and quite thick, but you can get it off there by using WD-40. So we're extending the life of garden tools. You just give things like this after each use a light spray and then just wipe it down with a paper towel and leave a very, very thin coat of WD-40 on it. And you can make your garden tools last 2 to 3, even 4 times longer, and they'll prevent rust and they'll stay in great shape. So another great thing to use WD-40 is to spray the cutting tools you have around your garden. If you have a lot of tree sap on them, and it will dissolve it pretty quickly, just wait about 2 to 3 minutes and you can wipe it down and it'll come right off. Now when it comes to leather furniture, WD-40 is great. You can spray it on and then rub it in carefully. You can clean it and restore it very quickly. Allow it to dry. It may take a second rag to get it completely off there, but it really makes a huge difference on restoring leather furniture, and it can help with the cracks as well. Now the shop next to my greenhouse has some very old windows in it, and sometimes when they start to dry out, they get a little rusty from the rain. You just spray a little bit of WD-40 in the tracks and it makes a huge difference, and it glides twice as easy as if it did before you sprayed it. So you just give it a little spray in the tracks and it just opens and closes just like new. Now the lock to my lawnmower shed is completely in the weather year round, but what you want to do about once a year, you want to spray down into the mechanism of both the latch side and the open side and into the keyhole. Just about a quick, very small quick shot, and that will keep it working great and keep water out of it. WD does stand for water displacement, so it can really keep your locks in great shape, even to a standard door. But this really helps my lock to my lawnmower shed. It keeps it working and functioning properly so I don't get locked out and have a key possibly break off in it. Now, if your garden's like mine, you have a lot of terracotta, it actually is a great cleaner for terracotta. You can just spray some on there and wipe it gently on there, and it'll clean any debris and dust off. And also, it'll keep water from penetrating it, and it will stop the chance of cracking, especially if you do it around the top. Be careful not to get it inside your planter, but you can spray your towels and then just do a wipe down like that. And water in the colder months of the year will run off the side and not permeate in there and crack it. A lot of times terracotta cracks very easily, and WD-40 can extend the life of it by 5 to 10 times. Now WD-40 can also prevent rust on your hose ends. Just spray a little bit and then just wipe it carefully, and that can add quite a bit of life to your hose ends and prevents rust and keeps them quite functional, and any debris that might be on there can help remove it as well. Now WD-40 can also help with slugs and snails. Spray this around the base of your plastic potted plants. It creates a slippier surface and also a smell that can repel slugs and snails away from it. So if you want to keep them out of your potted plants and doing any damage to them, just spray right at the base of your plastic pots and it'll remain there on the surface. Don't wipe it off too much, just a light wiping, or you can just leave it on there and it'll really repel them. Just do that about once a month. Now I wish I'd have thought about this years ago, but as you can see, this outdoor fixture right outside of my greenhouse has been eating away with rust. But if I'd have sprayed this years ago, I could have prevented this by doing this just once or twice a year, and it would have prevented rust from accumulating on the outside of this fixture. So outdoor lighting fixtures, just giving them a shot maybe once a year with a good coating like this can prevent rust and extend their life by quite a bit. Now wasps love building their nest up under the eaves of my garden shed, but in the springtime before it gets warm, I just give it a quick shot, and it makes that area a little bit slippier, and the smell can repel wasps and prevent them from building nests up under the eaves. They love that area because it's protected from rain, and it's a perfect place for a wasp nest to get started. So it makes an excellent wasp and hornet repellent. Just spray those eaves and you'll knock them out before they have a chance to get started. Now if your outdoor faucets are hard to turn, they may be frozen up from rust building up in there or lack of use. So just hit it with a good dose of WD-40, allow it to permeate that area. It'll protect it from rust, and then the next time you go to use it, it'll be super simple to turn compared to a frozen faucet when you really need it. Now WD-40 is great for lawnmowers. It can protect it from rust. You can spray the moving parts, the handles, everywhere on the outside. But another trick is you can spray up underneath, and grass area, and when you're cutting some really heavy wet grass, it tends to stick to the underside, so it's going to clog up and be very difficult to cut. So spray a very liberal coating of it on the underside right before you cut grass. Make sure it's clean before you do it. Then when you cut the grass, it's not going to be as stuck and clumped underneath. It will fall off quite easily. Now, zippers are often one of those things that can become rusty without you even realizing, especially if you live in a humid environment. But you're just going to spray a little bit of WD-40 on a rag and carefully run it down the zipper, and that will keep rust from forming and make the zipper completely operational and a lot easier to pull. Run it a few times and allow the WD-40 to get into the teeth of the zipper, and it will prolong the life of it and make it work great. So WD-40 is also great for fixing stuck keys. You can just spray it down into the keyboard. It's not going to hurt the electronics, and just gently clean it. It also makes a great cleaner. This also works on remote controls, but you just want to get it down in there. You can take a Q-tip and remove the excess, but it's not going to do anything to it, not going to cause rust. It is a water displacement product, so it's going to make it work great. So it's great for those sticky keys. Now, I can't count the number of times I've done this procedure, but spraying a little bit of WD-40 on your battery terminals can prevent corrosion, and it can stop you from being stranded somewhere. It helps the connection better between the battery and the terminals themselves, and you can depend on this working every time. I've used this so many times I've lost count. Now, while we're under the hood, it's never a good idea just to hit this with water. You don't ever want to take your hose pipe and just spray into the hood, but you can take some WD-40 and spray it on your engine and gently wipe it down. It'll make it look like new. It'll remove any dust and dirt quickly and make your engine look so much better. But when cleaning your engine, again, you never want to use a high pressure hose or water. Steam, perhaps. I think some professional cleaners do use steam, but I think the WD-40 is even better because it really rejuvenates the look of your engine, and it'll prevent any rust from happening as well. Now, WD-40 can prevent rust on your outdoor grill. After each use, and once it's cooled down, you're just going to lightly spray it with WD-40 both sides, put it back in, allow it to cool down. Now, one thing you don't want to forget to do, you can use something like a small can like this and leave it sitting on the grill to remind you that the next time you grill, you need to take these out and wash them with soap and water, or you'll end up with WD hamburgers. So if you live in an area that has extremely cold weather, freezing locks is sometimes a problem. So at the beginning of this cold season, just give it a quick shot in your locks, and that will prevent them from freezing, and it'll keep you from being locked out of your own house during an extremely cold event. Now, WD-40 is also great for removing water stains and protecting outdoor water features. You want to do this only on the outside, not where any animals might be feeding, but as you can see, it removes the stains very quickly. You may take a second coat on some of those tougher algae stains, but it will make it look like new, as you can see right there, before and after. Now, WD-40 is great on those drawers that stick or that are a little bit hard to open. Just give it a spray on wooden or metal drawers on the mechanism, the closing and opening mechanism. Run it back and forth a few times, and you'll discover it's working quite a bit better, and it will last for years. Now, this wheelbarrow is actually 50 years plus old. I'm assuming it's around 55 years old, but you want to keep it working great. Spray the mechanisms and all over to keep it from rusting, and that will prolong its life quite a while. I actually inherited this from my father, and by keeping it sprayed it once a year, just giving it a very liberal spray all over, it helps cut back on the rust that was already there and prevents it from spreading. It's always a good idea to spray your gate hinges at least once a year. That can prevent rust, and it can make it a lot easier to open and close your gates. Now, whether you have a lot of pots or statuary on your deck, and it's a good idea to take some WD-40 before you clean it with soap and water, and give it a quick spray of this, wipe it down, and then you can come back and hose it off, and it'll be twice as clean with a little bit of WD-40. Now, WD is also great for cleaning patio furniture, whether it's wood, metal, or like this composite plastic. But you can just give it a light spray and wipe it down, and it will clean off all the debris that's built up over the year. Also, the spray will get into the screw points and prevent any rust there as well. But on completely metallic furniture, this will definitely work well for preventing rust from happening. And on the wood, you have the same issues with the screws there. So just remember that this works on all types of patio furniture. Now, if you're having a problem removing a nut from a rusty bolt, you can spray WD-40 on it, wait about 20 minutes and allow it to permeate into the threads, and then you can try to remove it with whatever screwdriver or whatever you have handy, wrench, and it will definitely help. So it's well known for removing nuts and bolts that have become too rusty. Now WD is also great for removing sticker residue. You'll just spray some on a rag, wipe it on wherever you have that sticky glue substance for about 2 minutes, and after that it'll just break free and it'll have a nice smooth surface with no sticky residue. Now WD is also great for removing some of the cloudiness that happens on plastic headlights. So you just spray it on there, wait about 5 minutes, kind of dab it around so it doesn't get on the paint, and you may just do it 2 or 3 times, wait about 5 to 10 minutes, and then just wipe it down, and it'll help restore it to its original appearance. So if you live in an area that gets a lot of snow, you can liberally spray your snow shovels and it will just cause the snow to fall right off as you're clearing your sidewalks. So guys, I recently did a video about removing rust using things like WD-40 from everything from lemon juice to various types of acid, including apple cider vinegar. So if you want to take a look at that video, I'll link it up above. So I appreciate you watching. If you have any questions about this video or any other previous home or garden video I've done, please subscribe first. That's the way I filter all of my comments, so I can make sure I answer you quicker and know that you've subscribed to the channel. So guys, have a great day, and I appreciate you watching.